Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here. And as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Blue Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Well, it shouldn't be a surprise that the Cowboys will be getting rid of Amari Cooper and DeMarcus Lawrence. Between the two of them, their cap numbers literally are $49 million. That right there is almost 25% of our cap for two players. Um, I understand the situation that they're in because they've made mistakes in the past. And with the mistakes in the past, you've got to find ways to make it up. And this is something that happens in the NFL on a regular basis. The thing that I don't understand is when you listen to Stephen Jones and maybe Rich Dalrymple, who was the PR guy, and Jerry Jones not being there at the combine, it seems like the Dallas Cowboys train is off the rails, that it's a rudderless ship, that we're just kind of making moves here. Now, what I hope is this. I hope there's a plan here somewhere. I hope that there's a plan here somewhere to try and make the team better. Because I mean, I've seen this is a fact. I've seen where we've been in this situation before, where we ended up letting go DeMarcus Ware. We let go DeMarcus Ware. We also let go Jason Hatcher on a team that was 32nd in defense. We also lost Sean Lee in the very first play of OTAs. And that defense actually got better. I'm not going to say that it can't happen. I think with a guy like Dan Quinn, who literally hit the ground running and started to instill a work ethic with guys and trimmed the fat off of what we had before, and literally took what I could say like the black sheep, a bunch of different guys from all over the place meeting together for the first time. They made them a much better defense. Forget the crap that you hear from the talking heads now that have revisionist history that, oh, they weren't the 85 Bears. No, they weren't the 85 Bears. But I tell you what, to have taken away the football as much as they did, to have changed the narrative where we gave up, 50 points to the Cleveland Browns the year before, to turn in the other direction, to have the NFL leading interceptor over the last, 25 years, to have a rookie get 13 sacks, to start getting things in the right direction in the very first year, that's a miracle. That's a miracle. And they'll say, well, total defense, they were 19th. But scoring defense, excuse me, scoring defense, they were 7th. 7th. So I don't want to hear the talking heads that are going to go through and just try and say, oh, well, they aren't asked. Because here's what happens. It's funny how right now they're going to tell you that the Dallas Cowboys, they're garbage. Oh, they're terrible. They're awful. Dak sucks. Dan Quinn, he wasn't really that good. You know, they're going to tell us all these things, and we're going to feel bad about ourselves because right now, most Cowboy fans are probably feeling bad. D-Law, I hate to say, was a necessary cut. I don't know that Amari Cooper was. And I feel like Amari Cooper is getting a lot of blame, and he's not the kind of guy that'll fight back. Not like Des Bryant. But what's going to happen as we get closer to the season? They're going to turn around and they're going to say, oh, well, the Cowboys, they have all this talent. They're a great team. They're a Super Bowl contender. They're a Super Bowl favorite. Now, listen, You guys can't have it both ways. We can't be garbage and a Super Bowl contender at the same time. But that's what you guys do. That's what they do. What I hope is there's a plan here. I'm going to ask this question. Hypothetically, if the Cowboys, just follow me here for a second. What if the Dallas Cowboys, they didn't sell completely out, right? They didn't sell completely out. But what if the Dallas Cowboys, instead of getting value guys as free agents, what if we had went out and actually got, say, 2 or 3 really good guys? I'm not talking about, the tip top free agents. But what if we had just gotten really good guys? What if we had gotten a run stuffer, a good run stuffer on that defense? What if we had gotten another good linebacker? Somebody playing like Van Der Esch did his rookie year. And what if we had gotten one really good offensive lineman to add to that? Had we done that, let's say they're middle of the road guys, and let's say we spent an extra $15 million on those guys as opposed to the people that we brought in. Or let's say $20 million. Do you think this team would have had enough to get over the hump of beating San Francisco? Just 3 guys. A good offensive lineman to either take over Connor Williams or Tyler Badish, or when Tyron Smith was hurt. A run stuffer that helped us from giving up 4.5 yards per carry. And a linebacker who could really tackle going downhill. See, that's kind of what the Rams did. They had a really good team. They went out, they needed a quarterback, so they went out and they got the quarterback. But they also went through and they said, we need another receiver. So they went out and they got Odell. They said, we need another pass rusher. So we went out and we got Von Miller. Damn. Did you see that? I felt something on my hand. It was a moth that came down, hit my hand, and what do they always do? They jump in the fire. I just don't understand that shit. That shit's crazy. Damn. Suicidal. I hope what the Cowboys do, I hope that they look at this and say, okay, we're creating some cap room. We're going to cut Amari Cooper. We'll get the $16 million from him. We'll get $16 million from Dak. That gives us 10 right now, right? There's going to be other guys that aren't going to be there. Dalton Schultz probably with the hip might be one of those guys that gets some cap relief from, a guy like Terrell Brescia and things that they go through and they clear up a little room here and there, okay? And they go ahead and bring the guys. Now, I think Dalton Schultz, they're talking about franchise tagging him. And I'm wondering if 2 years from now, we don't look at this and say, why did we pay so much for Dalton Schultz? Because it feels like we keep doing the same thing. And I listen to Stephen Jones, who says, you can't build the team through free agents. And he's right in some regards. You can't build a team with free agents. You supplement a team with free agents. When we were doing our live stream earlier today, shout out to everybody that came through. We're going to do Sunday live streams that are Zoom-in calls so you channel members can be part of the conversation. It was very therapeutic. I played the clip where I interviewed Jimmy Johnson before the Hall of Fame. Jimmy talked about so many different things. He talked about, like Nate Newton, who Washington said was too fat. And he talked about, drafting Gogan in the 6th round and taking a defensive tackle and making him offensive lineman. He talked about all of the draft picks that he had and bringing in talent because they had a lack of talent. But he also talked about Charles Haley as well as Dion. When you say that you can't build a team through free agents, you have to understand you have to use all tools available to build a roster. We got some great pieces with Diggs and Micah, and Dak and Zeke and Tyron and things. But there's only so many picks and so many players that you can get in the draft. And nobody hits on all of them. If you get 4 starters in a draft, you're doing great. And so you can't build a whole team through the draft. You still have to sign guys. Now, tomorrow, I think what I'm going to do, because I was going through with DMV, we were having a conversation. And I was saying that, look, we end up bringing in a lot of free agents. And, Jaron Curse was really good for us. But he was more the exception than the rule because we always look at guys that are value. Guy coming off of injury. Guy who hasn't really performed. Once in a while, you get a George Selvey who'll come through and get you 7 sacks. But more times than not, you get the Dontari Pose. And so I was going through the list of guys that were free agents this year and said, how many free agents do we look at and say, wow, we really did great with that? And I think of Jaron Curse. I think of our punter. I think of Brett Urban, who did some good things. But I'm not sure that we got a whole lot more than really those 3 guys. Yeah, we got guys that played some minutes. DeMontre Kazee and Joseph Hooker. But for the grand scheme of things, you don't look and say, wow, we got guys that are going to be able to start for a couple of years. And if you go through and look at the list of the guys that we had as free agents that we signed in 2020, they didn't even sign contracts other than Andy Dalton that would even get you a compensatory pick. Those guys came, think about Ty Nsekhe. We paid him. Tyron went down. He came in and tried to play, couldn't play, and never saw him again. Yet he got a contract. We're better off having Ty Nsekhe? I don't think so. He did nothing. So maybe if we, instead of saying, we're just going to bottom basement shop, maybe we take 3 of those guys' contracts of those bottom tier shopping, and you get 1 guy that's real good. Because we don't have enough players to cover the issues we have. And the issues we have, it's simple. It's running the football and stopping the run. We couldn't run the ball, and we couldn't stop the run. And until we realize that getting guys like Russell Maryland in the middle are important, because when it's late in the season and teams are running the football that you must be able to stop them, it's going to be bad. And right now, I hope there's an ultimate plan here to get better. If not, next year is going to be like every other year that we make the playoffs. We don't the next year. So that's all I have to say about that. Hopefully, I've got this new microphone here. I'm testing out. It worked good when I did the Law Nation video. It did some funny things when I was outside doing the fish pond. We'll see how it is this time. Hopefully I can get it straightened out. It's basically plug and play. There's no adjustment or volume on it. So I think it's about where it is on me. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. I'm enjoying the fact that it's 11 o'clock at night and it's like 65 degrees out here. My neighbors are over here with the lights on in their basketball court shooting hoops. Guess it's not a school night for them or something. But it's been a good day. God willing, I'll be here tomorrow. Make sure you guys tell somebody you love them. And I will. God willing, see you in the morning.